Hello, how are you doing? I have missed you. I've got something big to talk about today, and I am in fact having surgery tomorrow, which you're watching this tomorrow. So while you're watching this, I am more than likely in surgery. And I'm gonna make a cup of tea. I'm feeling all sorts of things about this surgery because this surgery is my breast implants. They are leaving, and I've got a lot to unpack. You know, I don't know if this was you, but growing up, most all women in my life complained about their bodies. They felt really insecure. There were many times where my mom would say, "Oh, I just wish I had breast implants. Oh, I want to get my boobs replaced. Oh, my boobs are too small. They're too flat." And, you know, it just grew up as the norm of, oh, well, flat boobs are not good. Natural boobs are not good. And that's not to put that all on my mom, because most women were like that. You know, they downed their bodies and how fat they were, and they needed to lose weight, and they needed to look like this. And when I got older, I kind of said the same thing about myself my whole life. Going through school, you know, girls are expected to be super thin, really fit, look amazing. It's really hard being a woman and a girl growing up in school, especially in a traditional school, because, you know, bullying is a real thing. I was a chunky little thing, and, you know, I got bullied quite a bit. I don't know if that's the same for you, but that was hard. That was hard to get bullied for my weight and how I looked or didn't look good enough. And you carry that with you no matter who you are, that there's always some sort of bullying there. You know, after I got married and I had 3 kids, I didn't love where my body was. It was not beautiful to me. Kyle and I had a much different relationship. You know, he was really unsure how to make me feel good about my body, and I was unsure of how to have conversations with him about my body and the insecurities that I felt. We saved up money and decided that I was going to get my breast implants put in, and I was going to have a tummy tuck. So essentially they call that like a mommy makeover. And quite honestly, like, I really loved the way I looked because society's standards, right? I was beautiful. I was thin. My tummy didn't have any extra skin when I got done. My boobs were nice and perky. And so 3 months after I got this done, we got pregnant with Eli. And so my stomach, after having that tummy tuck and then getting pregnant, my stomach stretched out and hurt so bad. That was some pretty terrible pain, that like skin stretching after your skin is nice and taut. You know, my body was evolving. It was changing. And when we moved into the bus, I was 190 pounds. And this was in 2020. You know, the COVID weight gets put on. And we moved in February of 2020. And when I moved into the bus, I looked in the mirror and I just saw myself for a second. I just stood there and looked at me. And I had this moment of clarity where I promised myself I was never, ever, ever going to say another negative thing about my body. Anytime I would see a picture, if a negative thought tried to come in, I just didn't agree with it. Because remember, our thoughts aren't our thoughts until we agree to them. And so I would say, I do not agree. I am beautiful. I do not agree. I am beautiful. You know, it took a lot. It took a lot of saying that over and over and over again for me to finally believe it. But I did. The work paid off. Now, in March of 2021, I had been having problems with my right breast, and it was capsular contracture, where the scar tissue grows around the implant. And so I was we were going to be in Tennessee for a little bit of time. And so I was like, well, now's a good time to go ahead, find a surgeon and get them replaced. And I almost didn't get them put back in, just taking them out. And I didn't. Kyle, he had asked, he's like, do you think that maybe you could get them bigger this time? And like, I wanted my husband to find me attractive. And so I was like, yeah, I'll see if I can get them bigger. You know, and I really didn't stop to pause and think about the effect that that was going to have on my body, because my other ones were a D cup. They were a fantastic size. They were manageable, and it was really, really nice. I think they were like 310 or 20 cc's. So I look up doctors in the Tennessee area, find this one that was reasonably priced and could get me in to get the surgery done in a few weeks. When I go in for my consultation, you know, I tell him that I do want to get them bigger. He says, no problem. You know, I asked about a lift. I was like, I'm probably going to need a lift because they've grown a little bit. He's like, no, I'll put implants in that are a good size so you don't have to worry about a lift. So I trust him, right? I'm like, well, what about an internal bra? Are you going to do one of those? And he's like, no, you don't need one. Okay. He's like, I'm going to try a few different pairs on you while you're in surgery, and we'll see which one looks best on you. All right, no problem. So we get done with surgery. I get home. He doesn't put like a bra on me to hold them up. I'm just like sort of taped and like has gauze around me. So this whole experience was not great. Red flags everywhere. I get to look in the mirror the next day, and these things are so freaking massive, like abnormally massive. He took me from 310 cc's to 620 cc's. So doubled the size I had. So these became triple D boobs, almost like a G. And they have done nothing but cause me problems ever since I got them. Hindsight's 2020. We can go back and we can be like, you know what, this was not a great idea. We're going to choose better in the future, right? And it's kind of my plastic surgery journey is filled with choosing better in the future. So like we have been, ever since we got them done, I knew that I was going to have to get them redone and replaced or something, because like they pull my posture forward. So in order to like sit up straight, it's so much. When I tell you these things are heavy, they're heavy. And you know, when you live on the road, you can't really just get a procedure anywhere because you have to be in a spot for a chunk of time. And so I needed to plan out when we were going to be able to do this. And so we've been saving our pennies, knowing that it's going to cost a good amount of money. And so I wanted to find a few things. I had a few requirements. I wanted it to be a female doctor because I've had male doctors in the past. And, you know, for me, I wanted someone that has bedside manner and care and just like wouldn't just treat me as another number. And so I wanted to go with a female doctor. My next thing is I wanted the doctor to have their surgery center. So she has her own surgery center. And when I went in for the consultation, she was like, I am so sorry this doctor did this to you, because it's going to be like a 4-hour reconstruction with how big he made my implants. It just stretched the skin so much. The blood flow is actually cut off to my nipples. And that doctor before took out so much of my breast tissue to be able to fit these in here. So I have literally nil breast tissue, like none. So we really don't even know what size my breasts are going to be. It's one of those insecurities that I'm going to need to face, because I've worked really hard on loving my body, and any thought that comes in that is not a good thought or a negative thought about my body, I'm able to just let it go. I do not agree with that. I am beautiful. And so I'm going to have to do a lot of that in the coming weeks after surgery. It's going to be a lot of growing for me in the sense of continuing to love myself because I stopped Botox and I stopped lip injections 2 years ago because I want to be more natural. I want more natural things in my body. Rome wasn't built in a day, and so I'm trying to do one thing at a time, like taking away one thing at a time so that way I can live a balanced and healthy life. Because it took many years to get where I am, it's going to take a little bit of time to undo the things that I have done. And so if you're considering getting implants, really think about it. Really try and love your body before you go and do that, because these things are not meant to be forever. They're meant to be in there for about 10 years, and then they're going to have to go and get replaced. And so my body is at the point where they're rejecting these. I'm having tons of back pain. I'm having some autoimmune stuff come up. And from a lot of the research that I've done and talking with my surgeon, these could be the problem for a lot of things that's going on with me. So really think before you decide to get implants put in your body. These procedures are expensive, you know. I'm grateful that I've lived the life I lived. I don't have any regrets of the choices that I've made, because those choices, yes, even the plastic surgery, has helped me get to where I am in loving myself. And so if you feel called to get them, if you've went through the feeling through it, really thinking if this is for you, hey, more power to you. I want you to do what your knowing guides you to do. For me, my knowing is guiding me to not having these anymore. So tomorrow, it's going to be a long day. We aren't sure what time I'm going to get done, how much reconstruction there is. I definitely don't want any more. I don't want any more implants, because the doctor said, you know, we can come revisit this in 4 months or so when you're really healed if you want to add more volume. And I really don't. I want my body to be natural and live a much more natural life. If you have implants now and you're considering getting them out, you know, I'm gonna let you know along the journey of how this goes, how I'm feeling. I do want to say that for the next week, I probably won't be posting or making videos. I'll try and keep you updated as much as I can. For the first week, I am going to rest and just really recover. I've spent a lot of time advocating for me and making sure that I take time to rest and recuperate, because I deserve to. Just like when you are down, if you have surgery, if you have pain or an invisible disability, you deserve to take time to rest. You deserve to take time that you need as your medicine. It is your medicine to rest, because one thing I've learned is if I push myself too far, the universe gets to the point where my body breaks down and makes me rest, gets me sick. There's, you know, discomfort, disease, stuff going on because I'm not listening to my body. And so this time, I really want to do that. I really want to listen to my body and what it is telling me and take a break and rest. So it's kind of scary. You know, going under the knife is always a scary thing. There are some nerves. I'm grounding. I'm going outside, touching trees, doing a lot of breathing exercises, really, really working on my breathing, my mindfulness. So I'm practicing my tools that I tell you about, balancing my mind, giving gratitude, seeking silence, and observing the moment. I'm trying to do all of those things, and I hope that you will join me on this journey of getting my surgery done. I am ready. I am ready to not have these big old bazungas anymore, and I just want to be more natural. But please send me all the well wishes, all the prayers, all the good energy. Send me some love today as you're watching this video. I'll try and keep you as updated as I can. We're gonna journey through this together. I'll keep you in the know of how I'm feeling, how the procedure went. I'm sure I'll make another video letting you know how it's going. So we just got to our new campground, and the bus is not, these sites here, bless these sites' heart, they are not working. They are slanted, and so Kyle had to go to the Home Depot. He's gonna build ramps out of wood to put them underneath the bus. So I'm got to get started cooking dinner. I'm going to do dinner tonight. We're having tacos and tater tots. Yes, we are. And then bright and early at 7 a.m., I have to be at the surgery center. So as always, it's going to be an adventure. I hope that you were able to get a little bit of rest tonight, to be able to take some time for yourself, do some self-care, love on you, because you deserve it. So please have a safe trip home. I'm so grateful that you came over today. Thank you for being here and being you. I love you so much.